All right, it is 1 minute after 7. Everybody hearing me okay? Give me a shout back. Looks like my mixer control is showing that I'm in the green, or the yellow actually, for a DU meter. Okay, and you know, I was going to see if maybe a couple of more people were going to come in. I think I'll just let's give it just a few more minutes. I wanted to see if a certain few people show up. If not, no big deal, since this will be shown later, but live comments are really important. Getting live feedback is the reason why I'm doing this, so I really appreciate y'all taking the time to sit through this, and hopefully we'll have some fun. They want to book the band for a rodeo dance, and all I want to do is play cards. The contract claims they got $5 grand, but all I want to do is play cards. My agent says we'll have to take the show, but to tell you the truth, I don't want to go. There's a real good game, split high-low, and all I want to do is play cards. Let's see, yeah, doesn't look like... I was hoping for a real special guest to be here. All right, we're gonna get going. Let's get started. So let's switch over to my live screen. Okay, so quick check. Is everybody seeing me in the lower left corner of the screen? Give me a shout back, let me know. And is everybody seeing my intro screen to my poker game? I'm assuming you are. Yep, so this is my first time doing a live stream on YouTube, and I'm using the Streamlabs software, so I just have to make sure everything's in order. Okay, thanks guys. All right, there's somebody new. Hey Josh, good to see you. So well, that was one of the people I was hoping would show up. I'm really glad you're here, Josh. Thanks for coming to my live stream here. If you follow my YouTube channel, you've probably noticed that I haven't posted a video in probably over a year. I've had this long hiatus because I have been really working hard on developing this BakYard poker video game. This BakYard poker video game really is supposed to emulate what I've been talking about in my BakYard poker videos. So my BakYard poker videos have been really talking about this different style of playing poker. It's not your typical Texas Hold'em. In fact, my motto is the channel dedicated to dealer's choice poker beyond Texas Hold'em. So this is part of what I want to explain here about how this game works. So let me give you a quick outline of what I'm doing, and please put messages in chat. Any questions, any comments, anything, I will try as hard as I can to keep monitoring it and answer as I go. But this is what's important to me. Doing this kind of format with live shows, I can get some really good feedback. So any participation with chat is highly appreciated. So let me give you a quick outline of what we're going to cover today. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, my assumption is, if you've never been to this channel, if you maybe are new to poker, or a lot of people are familiar with playing Texas Hold'em, my game does have Texas Hold'em in it, but it's not really a tournament-based game. There's a big difference between the way that I'm going to show my poker style than what you have with your typical Texas Hold'em. So I'm going to actually explain the differences real quick. I got a quick little presentation to show the key differences between the BakYard style that I'm showing in the Texas Hold'em that people might be familiar with. If you don't know poker at all, then I would recommend my 10-part series that actually talks about poker from beginning to end. And in my description, I actually have the link for that playlist. So if you're brand new to poker, some of this may be a little bit too unfamiliar. You can go and watch those videos and then come back here, and a lot of this might make more sense, and the game may be a little bit more intuitive, and you'll be able to have more fun playing it. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Then I'm going to basically show how my game, I built it specifically to simulate the game style and play. There's even some tongue-in-cheek stuff. It's supposed to be a fun social game, not as serious as a Texas Hold'em tournament. So I want this to be a fun game. I want people to enjoy it for the poker, but also for some other stuff that I've actually put into this game. So I'm looking forward to hearing what your feedback on that as well. So then I will actually go through and show in the poker software that I have, the game that I have, that how to create a character. We'll start with just a high quality character, and pretty easy to do, and then we'll get right into the poker table, and I'll show a couple of sample games. A couple of things I'll show about how betting is done, how you do your inputs to the game, and how each game progresses from beginning to end, and then how the deal advances. And then there's some other stuff. There's other interesting things that are in the game that you would get on a neighborhood poker night. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. So, and then after I end the demonstration of my software, I'm going to ask you guys some questions, some Q&A, and then I will take any questions from you guys at the end too. And please, please, please don't hesitate to ask. I really, really crave your feedback. So let's talk about poker in general. Before I actually go into the software, I want to show a little PowerPoint presentation, because what we really need to do is compare Texas Hold'em to Dealer's Choice. So Texas Hold'em is kind of the new kid around the block. It became popular late 70s, 80s, and then really took off from there. And it was a tournament-based system. Now, I don't have anything against Texas Hold'em. I'll play it once in a while. But it's a lot different than your Dealer's Choice neighborhood poker, which has been going on for almost 100 years, that style of poker. That's kind of what my game is about. So let me bring up the PowerPoint presentation where I talk about the differences between Dealer's Choice BakYard poker and the Texas Hold'em that people may be used to. So on the left here is Texas Hold'em. On the right will be my Dealer's Choice BakYard style of playing. So one thing in Texas Hold'em, and I know there's probably a lot of variation on this, but typically Texas Hold'em is a tournament style game, and it is really like an elimination game where you have the last man standing. And a lot of times the people that are playing the game become spectators. So I know there's cash games, I know there's other forms of Texas Hold'em, but most of your Texas Hold'em that's played is some type of tournament style. And even if you are doing cash games, the style is played in the Texas Hold'em style, which is different than what I'm going to have in my game. So now in Dealer's Choice, it really promotes participation. This is a low stakes game. Everybody plays every hand. Nobody gets eliminated unless they just decide, hey, I'm broke or whatever, I'm out of the game. But everybody gets to play until the end of the poker night. So that's the intention with Dealer's Choice, and that's how my software is going to look. Another thing with Texas Hold'em is the way that you do bettings at the beginning of any game. I'm sure if you're familiar with Texas Hold'em, and you know that you have the big and small blinds. So you have the dealer, and then you have the person to the left of the dealer doing the small blind, and then the left of that person doing the big blind. You don't do that in this neighborhood Dealer's Choice style that I show in my game. What we have is the ante, and the ante is just a set amount that everybody puts in. So here in this, and you'll see that the table in Texas Hold'em is usually an oval table, but the one in your neighborhood poker is going to be, you know, a circular table. In this case, it's a multi-sided polygon table here. So I have my 6 players. When I put in the ante, everybody agrees on the same, has the same amount, which is a quarter, and you all put it in to start the game. There's no big and small blinds. So that's how it's going to be done in my game. In Texas Hold'em, it's no limit, or you have high limit. So it is possible that you can lose all your chips or all your money in one hand. That's not the case in Dealer's Choice BakYard. It's low stakes. So there'll be limits on the betting. There'll be limits on the number of raises. And the idea is to keep people playing the entire night. We're not trying to steal anybody's rent money, and we're not trying to make anybody, you know, rich by playing this. It's supposed to be a fun social game. The next thing is that Texas Hold'em, most of the time you're just playing the same game, Texas Hold'em every hand. Now I know that they've added Omaha or Stud, and they have started to add some type of Dealer's Choice to Texas Hold'em, but that's still a lot different than the style that I'm talking about in my game. In my game, when you're the dealer, you can pick from almost an endless amount of games, as long as they fit within the house rules. So you can play draw, you can play a stud game, you can play a community card game, you can play a wild card game. So there's a lot more variety in the types of games that people get to choose when they are the dealer. So that's also what I'm trying to capture in my game. A lot of variety. When you're playing Texas Hold'em, at least whenever I've seen it on TV or even when I played it myself, it's a lot more serious. A lot more people are really concentrating hard on the cards. There's a lot more, I guess you could say, cutthroat play during the game. I know that sometimes you may get a good group of friends and you're able to have a more relaxed game, but it can get more serious. BakYard style is a lot more laid back. There's a lot more socializing. You're not there to just try to rob people of their money. It's really that sometimes it's an excuse. I had an interview with my dad in one of the videos that I had, poker interviews that I did with him. And he said a lot of times this type of poker is a good excuse to have people that you haven't seen in a while come over. So he has friends or families that he may not have seen, and a poker game is a great excuse to get them over. You know, have a little fun, drink a little beer, play little cards, and it's a good night. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is the hand ranks. If you're familiar with the hand ranks in Texas Hold'em, you have the hand ranks that go from high card as your lowest card to royal flush. And if you're not familiar with hand ranks, again, my part 2 video of my basics series explains hand ranks. So there really isn't much difference between this and the way that you play in my Dealer's Choice version, except for there is an extra poker hand that you get. Let me bring this up real quick, if it'll load it. Yes. So here are the poker hands here. And like I said, you got high card, and then for Texas Hold'em, you go up to royal flush. But if you're playing in the BakYard style with Dealer's Choice, if you play wild cards, you actually have a 5 of a kind, which is a hand that you get only with wild cards. You don't get that with Texas Hold'em unless you're playing Texas Hold'em with wild cards, which I've never seen before. So there is a slight difference in what you have in Texas Hold'em to Dealer's Choice. So those are the basic differences when you compare Texas Hold'em to Dealer's Choice. So let's get back out of there and go into actually my game. So now that we have an idea of what this game is about, let's go in here and actually start a game and or create a character and start a game up. So what I'm going to do is start a local single player. Now I am working very hard to get online multiplayer. This game ultimately needs to be an online multiplayer game because that's basically what I'm trying to emulate. I'm trying to emulate the style of playing with a group. And you'll see some of the stuff in here and the mechanics in here really do promote playing multiplayer. But for now, I just have the single player working, but I am working hard to get the multiplayer. So when I go on single player, what I can do is, if you're just starting out, you can select the player that you've already created, or you click on Create Player. I'm just going to click on the Create Player. And I can actually select whether I want to use a high quality character. Now these are predefined characters, and you can only select between one of six character types. But they're higher quality. The animations are a little bit more well done, I would say. But the trade-off is that you're really just restricted to these 6 built-in characters. On the next stream, the one that I do next, I'll get into the SD, because the SD one allows you to customize your character. It uses something called Ready Player Me, and it's a whole avatar creation system. So you can customize your character to your heart's content. To keep things simple, I'm just going to create an HQ character. And once I do that, it'll prompt me to actually type in the information that I want for this new player that I'm going to create. So I'll just keep it pretty simple. I'll use my own name. And then, like I said, you have the one of 6 character types. I just select on this drop down, and in a few seconds you should see the character avatar type appear over there on the right. So we got a couple of females, we got a couple of males, and we got one that looks shockingly similar to the creator of this game. We'll stick with this guy. And there's a couple other things that when you create a new character, you can select the difficulty level. So right now I have this selected to basic. That's what it defaults to. What this does is it restricts the types of games that you'll be able to play and what your computer players or your AI players will select. We're going to stick with the basic game. So these are really the fundamental games, the ones that are easiest to learn. In future streams, I may start showing, or I will start showing, intermediate and advanced, but we'll stick with basic for now. And then there is a cheating system in this game, which I will show later in a future stream as well. That's where I think the social aspect, it really comes into play here. For now, I'm actually going to disable cheating and just play it fair and square. And then once I have that, I just click on Create New Player, and it will load up the game table and load up my characters that are going to play. Now you can see that my character got duplicated, so it's going to recreate another character so that I have 6 unique characters. So when you load up the game, it puts you right into, this is like the backyard garage here that we're playing in. And we have the selection for the games that you want to play. So right now, because we're on basic difficulty, we have the games 5-card draw, 5-card stud, 7-card stud, low Chicago, and Texas Hold'em. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Texas Hold'em is a game that you can play in here, but you have to play it the backyard style with an ante and all that. So you can still play Texas Hold'em. It's just one of several games that you can select from this dealer's choice. Now up here are some filters. I can go in here, and if I want to, I can just click on the none and basically turn all the filter flags off. And then I can go in and say, well, only show me 5-card draw where the winner takes all. And it will start to filter the types of games based on what you're selecting here. So let's say I want 7-card and I want to be able to have stud games. So now it shows 5 and 7 cards. So you can go in here and actually select and filter. Now you may want to do this when you're on the advanced setting, because the advanced has quite a few more games listed on here. So once you, and you can also type in what you want as well. So let's see, I'm going to click on all, and I'll just type in draw, and it'll automatically scope your filtering to whatever you type in there. There is also a favoriting system. So these little stars over here, if you click on it, it makes it yellow. And then over here under the faves, these are toggles here. My games, backyard games. My games is another topic. These are games that I can create. And eventually I want people to be able to create their own poker games. But that's That's in the future. For now, it's really just the backyard games and your faves. So because I made that, I clicked on that star, I can also unclick it and it takes it off the list there. So let's start with a real basic game. Let's do 5-card draw. So when you load up the game, the important thing to note, and let me check my notes here and make sure I'm not missing anything here. One thing that's important, all the money in here is simulated. There is no actual gambling going on here. We are not playing for real money. I don't encourage playing for real money. This is for entertainment purposes only. Just want to make sure that you guys completely understand that, and anybody watching this in the future knows that this is play money only. Okay, so once you start a game, or select a game, which is the 5-card draw, up here on the upper right is the actual game description. So every time the dealer's picking a new game, you got to know what the game is. So that's where you look up here and it'll show you what game you're playing. In this case, it's 5-card draw. And then this little guy right here is a little toggle that will explain the game. Now these descriptions, I need to work on these. I haven't really fine-tuned the description on these. But 5-card draw is basically you deal out 5 cards to everybody and you bet, and then you can draw up to 3 cards. In this case, if you lay an ace down, you can draw 4 cards. And then you get replacement cards, you bet again, and then there's the showdown. Whoever has the highest hand wins the game. So every time there's a game that's loaded by you or your computer players, the game will be loaded here, and you can click on this to see a description of the game. And once you start playing these for a while, it gets pretty gets pretty intuitive, and you get the hang of them. The pot up here is basically the amount of money that's being put into the center of the table. That's your pot indicator here. So down here is what I call the button towers. And just about any interaction that you're going to do in the games is going to be with these buttons down here. So the first thing I got to do, like I said, in dealer's choice, everybody has to ante. And it looks like everybody already did except for me, so I'm going to click on ante. Now when I do that, you can hear the shuffling of the cards. Can you guys actually hear stuff on the game? Give me a shout out if you can actually hear the game sound effects. You guys hearing it? No, you're not. In fact, I just had to turn that on. So, how about now? Should be able to hear it now. Okay, good. So I'm pausing the game. I'm hitting the space bar to pause the game. So this thing dealt out the 5 cards, and then right when you the first thing you do after dealing out the cards is you do a bet. For 5-card draw, it's the person on a dealer's left. So this is going to go through and actually move the camera around in the direction of betting.
0 for 25.
Add another quarter.
I raised 25.
I see your bet. I match the bet. Okay, so this is the first sequence of betting here. So we have these little bubbles here, these chat bubbles. So the Butch character here, and here's the name and their dollar amounts up here, this little player panel up here. So Butch opened for 25 cents. Sprinkles raised, making it 50 cents. Erika raised again to make it 75 cents. And then Sonny called on the 75. And then the bot here called on 75. So the bet is to me. And if you know anything about poker, you have the option of either calling, raising, or folding. Because nobody checked, I can't do a check. So I'm either going to call, raise, or thanks, Clay. I can either call, raise, or fold. So I'm just going to call the bet. Got a possible straight going here, although this is an inside straight, and normally I would fold on an inside straight. That's what I recommend, but for our game here, I'm going to go ahead and play it through. So I'll call on that 75 cents.
Call.
And now we have to have everybody match.
Raise
Out.
you a quarter.
There's another raise.
All goody with me.
So I'll let this go around.
I see your bet.
Now you notice
Call.
nobody else is raising. When Butch did that third raise, that was it. There is betting limits on this, or raise limits, just like I was talking about in my backyard poker presentation, to try to keep it from somebody just raising and doing all-ins like that. There is no all-in in backyard style poker. It's more of a marathon than it is a sprint. So he hit the limit. He did the last raise, so all that people can do now is either call or fold. So I'm going to call the bet.
Call.
Now, after you do a bet, you do a discard and draw of cards. So in this case, again, this little button tower shows up on the lower left here. This is always where you're going to be seeing the action that you're going to do. Now, in this case, discarding card is a matter of actually, well, if you read here, it says click on the card or cards to discard, then click on the discards cards button. Discard cards button. And when you mouse over these cards, you'll see them highlight in yellow to kind of give you an indication that this is a clickable card. So I'm going to try for the straight, even though it's not advised to do an inside straight draw. I'll try to get rid of the man with the axe here, the king of diamonds, to see if I get a 6. And then I just click on the discard, and it will go through and replace the card that you discarded with the card that you draw. Now there's another betting round.
I'm out.
And we have somebody who folded.
Is that all? I call.
Raise 25.
We have the bot doing a raise. So now in my case, I did not get the straight. There's a good chance that somebody has a higher hand than me, so I'm going to exercise some wisdom here and fold my hand.
Garbage.
And we got
Sprinkle in another
some other
quarter.
people folding. We got some raising.
Quarter more to you.
Fold.
Peace.
Hot diggity dog, I won.
All right, so we have a winner. So now every time somebody wins, they do a little celebration. And then, just like I said in Dealer's Choice, the deal progresses to the person on the left. And it looks like that person, Butch, the AI player, is going to pick 5-card draw again. So you just continue on. So if I click on ante up, he's going to deal the next hand of 5-card draw. Let's see if I get something better. Oh, I got some hearts. I got a lot of hearts. Well, I got a better chance of getting something good here.
I'm in.
Quarter more to you.
Raise 25.
Okay, so I'm gonna call. I could raise and say, hey, I think I'm gonna get that 5th heart, because if I get that 5th heart, I'm gonna be raising. But for now, I'll just call the bet.
Call. Raise you a quarter.
Okay.
All goody with me.
I'll call.
Is that all?
And as you look at the talk bubbles, the lowest talk bubble is the most recent. So it does keep a history of their bet decisions. The lowest one is the most recent. I will call.
I'll call that.
And let's see if I get that heart. Oh, wrong red
I
card.
pass.
Open for a quarter.
So it's not going too well for
Let's
me.
go another
So
quarter.
I'm going to fold again.
Raise 25.
Because I'm sure that somebody's got at least a pair or something. So I'm going to fold.
I fold.
No, I want you to notice
Nothing
something.
good.
Oh, I wonder if
Bunch
this...
of junk.
All right. I paused the game for a second because I wanted to show something. This little meter down here, I haven't really talked about this yet. So everybody has their name and their dollar amounts. Everybody starts out with $100, and you're betting for quarters, so it's low stakes. So you're only starting with $100, and this keeps track of how much money you have, win or loss. Now over here is your blood alcohol content meter. This is one of these extra little fun things that I added to the game. As you play the game, if you start to lose your hands or you fold your hands, your blood alcohol content meter starts to go up. If it gets to 0.2, you're drunk. Your character will get drunk. You will see your character look drunk. Your character, when it's drunk, may not respond to the commands you give it. It may ignore you and say, "Oh, no, 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 no. I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone." So there may be a time where you want to fold your hand. Instead, it'll raise. Or you may want to call the bet, or it may raise. So that's one thing that happens when you get your blood alcohol content gets too high. Now, how do you reduce it? Well, you win a game. When you win a game, you basically get a shot of coffee and your blood alcohol content goes down. Now, the other thing that's here, and this is only on the real players, not the computer players, you have a leveling system here. So right here is poker points. You got 0 of 100. And if I call this the dog bone progressor here. When I click on this, it actually brings up a table of all the different levels that you can advance through by earning poker points. So right now it's showing that we're a chum, but you can advance to a plankton, minnow, sunfish, bigmouth bass, pike, barracuda, piranha, shark, and whale. And every time that you advance in a level, you get cheat points. You have abilities to activate cheats in the game and also use cheats while you're playing the game. These are all limited. Whether or not cheats are going to be successful and how often you can use them in the game is all limited by some of this information here. I want to get into that more later on in a future live stream. But just realize that the game has built-in cheating. It has a leveling system, and this keeps track of that. Now, when you win a game, you get poker points. Every time you win a game, your blood alcohol content goes back down, and you win poker points. And as you advance higher up, you get better and better cheats, and your percentage of being able to cheat goes up. So I'll unpause the game.
Raise you a quarter.
All goody with me.
I'm out.
Ah, hell, I fold.
Call.
Anybody got any
Yeah,
questions so
baby.
far? Any questions, opinions, suggestions? I'll keep an eye out. Oh, another thing is you can mouse over. Whenever there's a winning hand, you can mouse over the cards. It'll show you this big view here with the actual hand rank that they have. So here, 3 of a kind 9s. She won with, well, actually he won with 3 of a kind 9s. She had a 3 of a kind 6s, and the bot here had 2 pair of 4s over 2s. And that's another thing I want to show. So let me start another game here. This is actually Texas Hold'em. We're going to play one hand of Texas Hold'em, but we're going to do it in the backyard style, which means you put an ante in, you get your 2 cards.
Open for a quarter.
So now you're just betting on your cards.
Cards ain't worth a
Pre-flop.
Raise 25.
Queen 5. I guess I'll see what happens.
Call.
Not a very good starting Hold'em hand.
Crash.
Sprinkle in another quarter.
You got some raising going on. Thank you,
Raise
Stephanie.
25.
Appreciate that. Call.
Call.
All goody with me.
I'll call.
Oh, so I got a pair of
Open for a quarter.
5s. It's not quite a strong hand.
Fold.
I don't know. What would you guys do in this scenario? I'm going to stay in. See what happens. See if I can get 3 of those
Call.
5s or 2 pair. Queen would be
Add
nice.
another quarter.
I raise 25.
I'll call.
I'll call that.
I don't trust and the AI on this is
Sprinkle in
pretty
another quarter.
crude.
I'll call.
It's a lot to actually create some pretty realistic AI. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done on it.
I'll call that.
It roughly does what it's supposed to. Oh my God, 2 pair. I'm glad I stayed in. I think it's time for me to raise. Yeah, I'm gonna put myself 2 more quarter raise here.
Raise at 50.
See if I can intimidate him.
I raised 25.
I'm gonna raise back.
Raise at
I'm
50.
feeling pretty confident. I don't see a flush
All goody with
potential.
me.
Pretty low
I'm in.
percentage chance of a straight and a...
Check.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna open. I'm not checking.
Quarter.
Call.
Got any raising?
Bump at 25.
Look at this. Starting to wonder about Erika here, but see if I can
Raise at 50.
intimidate her.
All goody with me.
I raised 25.
Oh wow. Well, I think that's the last raise, so I just have to call.
I'll call that.
Let's see.
Call.
Yeah. They're all staying in. Oh, what did she have?
Yes.
Oh, she had a higher 2 pair. Yeah, kings over queens. Wow. Good hand, Erika. Okay, so as you can see, my blood alcohol meter is going up. I'm going to play a couple of more hands here. Now, 7-card stud. We're playing a stud game. So in a stud game, the first bet opener is whoever has the highest hand showing. So because this king is high, and I wanted to show this too. If you look here, and I think you can see my little orange dot. It's showing everybody's hand here. We got a high card king, high card 10. It's showing what they have for their up cards here. High card 8, high card 8. Now, for you, when you're looking at the blue indicators, it's your entire hand, not just your up cards. So here it's showing the up card values, or hand rank, of your opponents. On this one here for you, it's showing your entire hand. Your opponents aren't going to know what, this is not what it's going to say for your opponents. So only you know that you have that high card 9 in the hand. So just an important thing to note there.
I pass.
So we got some checking going on.
I check-a-roo.
Check.
Now I'm going to check too.
Check.
Let's see what Butch does.
By me.
All right, if everybody checks, no bet, we move on. Similar to Texas Hold'em.
Check.
A little bit more checking going on.
I check.
So 7-card stud.
I check-a-roo.
2 cards down, 4 cards up,
Open for 25.
1 card down. So you got 7 cards to work with. Yeah, possible straight, possible flush. A lot of other clubs out there. No, I'm going to stay in.
I'll call that.
So I mean, you can play this
Call.
almost the same way you would when
And
you
another
got
quarter.
your friends and family around playing poker.
Is that all? I call.
And it'll get a little bit more interesting
Raise 25.
when we start having people
I'll call that.
losing and their blood alcohol content
in.
goes up.
All goody with me.
I'm in.
Is that all? I call.
All right, I got
I'll
4
open for
clubs.
25.
So I got the
I feel you,
potential
man.
for a flush, but I see a lot of other clubs
Call.
out here, so I'm a little worried. So I'll call.
Call. Raise you a quarter.
Call.
I got some raises.
I fold.
I threw your bet.
I match the bet.
I'll call.
Call.
So we're going to get another card up. I got a pair of 7s.
Sprinkling with a quarter.
A lot of other clubs
I
out
threw your
there.
bet.
So I'm a little concerned about
Raise 25.
whether I'd even get that other club. So I'll call. I
I'll
want to
call
see that
that.
last card.
Raise you a quarter.
Sprinkling another quarter.
I threw your bet.
I match the bet.
I'll call that.
Yeah, it took a lot of time
Call.
creating this game to get all these games to work
Sprinkling with
correctly.
a quarter.
I mean, there's a lot of
I feel you,
variation.
man.
When you started getting into more of the advanced games,
Raise 25.
there's even some more interesting mechanics, especially when you have wild cards and all these other things. So, Pair of Sevens isn't going to cut it. I'm going to fold. So
I
my
fold.
blood alcohol content is 0.14.
Raise you a quarter.
I'm getting close.
Sprinkle in another quarter.
I feel your bet.
So let's see how this ends up.
Call. Call.
All
I am
right.
the winner.
So the bot wins with the dead man's hand, aces and eights. Yeah. Okay, so we got Sonny playing Texas Hold'em.
Check.
I'm just gonna fold and see if I get drunk.
Watch
Almost.
his junk.
Check.
Hitting you with a Cody.
I'm in.
Quarter more to you.
Raise 25. Raise you a quarter.
Call.
I'm in.
Ah, hell. I fold.
I match the bet.
All right, so these bots are gonna play,
Open for 25.
and I just want to
Raise
try
your
one
quarter.
more hand and see if I can get my character
Sprinkle in
drunk,
another
just to show
quarter.
you what that looks like.
I raised 25.
So while this is going on, any questions, any comments? Really,
I'm in.
really like to hear
Call.
from you about what you think.
Open for 25.
Call.
Bump at 25.
Garbage.
One of the things I'm really
Sprinkle in another quarter.
concerned with is the
I raised
user
25.
interface. You know, how the buttons
Call.
are, how if people can tell what they're supposed to be doing during the game.
Sprinkle in with a quarter.
The
I
fact that
raised
there's a
25.
lot of different games that you can play is really the
Sprinkle in another
challenge.
quarter.
Is
call.
getting
Bag
everybody to kind of
secured.
understand what's involved in the game. So probably some tutorial videos are really what I'm going to be looking at. So another game of 5-card stud by the bot, and then it'll be my turn to pick a deal. I'll pick a... Okay, Clay. That's great. Clay said he'll give me a list of feedback. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Clay is a very good user interface expert. I really value his opinion, so I really appreciate that. So I'm going to check.
Check.
Actually, I should fold.
Open for 25.
All goody with me.
I'll call.
Let's go another quarter.
I match the bet.
All right, I'm going to fold again. And
I fold.
I'm over
I'm
0.2.
in.
So as you can see,
Sprinkle in another quarter.
my character is a little tipsy.
Quarter more to you.
I match the bet. I'm in.
And will continue to be tipsy until he wins a game. Now, what happens when this character is drunk?
Check.
So it's got a 0.2.
Knock on wood. Check.
I'm going to reduce the volume on the...
Check.
Actually, I'll just shut off. So one thing that can happen when you're drunk is the BAC level, 0.2, becomes a percentage. So there's a 20% chance that your character is going to ignore you and actually make its own decision. So it's too drunk to listen to your instructions, and it'll just go off on its own. Otherwise, there's an 80% chance it will. So as you get drunker, there's more of a chance that it's going to ignore you and do what you didn't want it to do. So that's the fun part. That's the social part. The one thing I'm really trying to emphasize in this is that I don't want people taking this too seriously. I want it to be fun. When this gets to be a multiplayer and people start getting drunk and people start using cheats in a very limited fashion, I think that's where the entertainment will really come in this game. So I'm going to call one last game here. I'm going to call Low Chicago. So Low Chicago, and before I actually deal it, I'm going to go to the description here. So it's 7-card stud, where you got 2 cards down, 4 cards up, and the last card down. The only exception is there's a split pot. Split pot is something I talked about in my Poker Basics series, and that's the ability to actually have 2 winners in a poker game. So it's 7-card stud, but the lowest spade in the whole cards, not the ones that are on the table, but the cards that are facing you that only you can see, whoever has the lowest spade out of those gets half the pot when there's a showdown. So we'll play this to end the game demonstration. And I got a high spade. If we're playing high Chicago, would be good, but that ace of spades is most likely not going to be the lowest spade.
I check-a-roo.
So
Open for 25.
let's see if I call if he'll raise. No,
I'll call that.
he listened to me. But sometimes if
Make
your
it a
character's
half.
drunk and you try to call, it'll
All
raise
goody
instead.
with me.
I'm in.
Is that all? I call.
Low Chicago's your
the bet.
favorite, Stephanie?
Call.
Yeah, it's a good game. So I got a possible flush going here. Now, the interesting thing about this game is you may not have been dealt the low spade
Knock on wood.
when you first got dealt your 2
Open for
cards face down, but
25.
when you get that last card face down, you may get the spade then.
I'll call that.
But that's usually not a good enough reason
I'm in.
to
All goody with me.
stay
I'll
in.
call.
I threw your bet.
All right, I got some diamonds here.
Hitting you with a Cody.
Let's see what happens if I call, if it'll
Is that
automatically
all? I call.
raise. So I'm going to try calling the bet
Call.
and see if it behaves. Nope,
Raise it 50.
it ignored me and raised. So instead of calling the bet,
in.
it raised.
All goody with me.
It's basically saying, I know what I'm doing, I'm raising.
Is that all? I call.
I match the bet.
All right, well,
Open for a quarter.
that wasn't a good card.
Sprinkle in another
That broke
quarter.
my flush potential, so
Quarter more to you.
I got to hope my last card.
Raise 25.
I have 4 diamonds? Yeah, I got to hope my last card is either a low spade or a diamond, and a lot of diamonds on. No, I got some potential here. I'm going to stay in.
Call. I'm in.
All goody with me.
Ah, hell. I fold.
Ooh.
Open for a quarter.
A 4 of spades,
And
a
another
2 of
quarter.
spades is showing, a 5 of spades is
I
showing.
match the bet.
I have a high potential of having the lowest spade in the hole. I'm going to raise because I think I'm going to get half the pot.
Raise
The
it
3 of spades I think is still out there,
Raise
and
a
that's the
quarter.
only thing that would beat me.
All goody with me.
Call.
So I'll call the bet.
Call.
Oh, the
Bet
bot had the
here.
3.
I am the winner.
All right. Well, that's about it. That's basically the gameplay. If you want to look at the poker hand ranks, I got this little button down here that'll show you the poker hand ranks. There's a few more things to this game that I haven't shown yet, especially the different types of games that you can play. There's cheating that you can do. There is the standard definition characters where you can go in and customize them. So there's a lot more that I want to show in future live streams. So I'm pretty much done with the demonstration, and I want to ask you guys some questions. Leave me a response in chat here. What do you think that this is a difficult game for somebody who is familiar with Texas Hold'em to be able to play? Do you think that somebody who knows how to play Texas Hold'em would be able to pick up on this? Or would you think it's too difficult with what I've shown? Too difficult? Yes? Okay. So you would think that some tutorials would be in order, right? Maybe some intro tutorial lessons. I'm not sure what Noi. Not too difficult. Okay, good. Yeah. So that's the thing is, with all this variation, there still is a learning curve, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to guide people into this. The difficulty thing was one that I created to help so that new players just play the basic games. I don't want to have them get too crazy by doing wildcard games. There is a game called Scoop, which I talked about in a separate video, and that's a really interesting game. It's hardly even a poker game. It actually combines elements of blackjack and poker. So that's an advanced game. And I don't want people trying to play that and getting lost. I have watched a few of my friends play my game on streams on Twitch. And they know that when I had them play the advanced, they were a little bit lost. Even when they looked at the description over here, some of it was a little long-winded and just took a little while. Another thing I was thinking of is having a setting so that, let me see if I can actually do this. Having like a table over here. Can you guys see these red lines that I'm drawing here? Thinking of having like a table, and in each one of these little steps here would be the game steps. So it'd be like deal 5 cards, bet, draw up to 3 cards, bet, something like that. That as you're playing, it would actually highlight the current row that you are on. It would highlight it. Wow, this is some awesome art I got going here. So that people would have a better idea of what to expect in the game and what basically makes that up. What do you guys think of that? That sound like a interesting idea? Or a good idea? Okay, thank you. All right. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody taking their time and participating in this. I really do appreciate it. A couple of things I want to mention is that my game is available. You can download this beta version right now. In the description for this live stream will be a link. There's 2 ways to do it. You can join my Discord. On my Discord, and I highly recommend, if you use Discord, if you can join my Discord channel, you can download my game, you can get all the updates, you can get the revision lists, suggestion box, you can submit bugs there. I really suggest and hope to get some more people into my Discord channel. Or you can use the link. I have a direct link. You can just download the executable. When you first run it, it will automatically do a patch update to the latest version. Every time you start my game, it'll automatically download the latest version. And this is in active development, so you'll see a lot of changes. And my intention is to have weekly live streams of all the updates that I do on my game. So I'm going to close this out. I thank everybody for participating and look forward to seeing some or all of you in the next stream. Thank you.